Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I create my freedom within a budget. So this budgeting method allows me to be very flexible with my day-to-day, week-to-week spending when it comes to my variable spending. So I live a pretty different lifestyle now compared to, a couple years ago when I was working full time at a desk job. And I had a different lifestyle back then. It was fairly predictable. It was pretty boring. I didn't go out much. I didn't have a lot of friends. Didn't have much of a social life. And I studied a lot. And I worked a lot. So my expenditures were fairly predictable. So how I budgeted back then, which works for me, that is, categorizing all my expenditures. Okay, so that worked for me before, but it's not it doesn't work for me now. And frankly, I really enjoy flexibility. I am an entrepreneur, so I have to be flexible. And plus, I like going out. I have a social life, and I do a lot of activities. So this budgeting method works for me. And a lot of my clients as well. They enjoy the flexibility in not having to be bogged down by categories of this and that and keeping track, right? It can get overwhelming. Some people just don't want to do that. So this way, it allows me to make sure that all my fixed expenses are covered and I'm paying myself and putting money towards my financial goals before I spend money on everything else. So it starts off with income and spending. So again, my income fluctuates, and to be conservative, I put down the bare minimum that I pay myself each month. So in this case, it's $3,000. And then the next section, personal obligations and debt, right? So mortgage, some obligations that I have, some loans. This is where I put my total payments, and it's tallied up right here. So it's $1,359. And then comes my fixed payments. So if you don't have a mortgage, if you have rent, you can just put it here, and everything that, all your payments that you're responsible for. So I know I don't have these items. They're kind of lumped into this as well. I didn't break it down. But for you, of course, if you have, these bills, then you can just put them in here. For my car insurance. Okay, so my car insurance payment, I don't have any car payments. I paid off my car. My car insurance comes due twice a year. Okay, so 2 times a year, I make a $740 payment. So I don't want to, a lot of times I forget that the bill is due, right? So I don't want to kind of surprise myself and be like, oh shoot, I have to pay $740, right? So what I do is I take out that amount every month, and I set it aside into what is called a sinking fund. So then when the bill comes, I have money for that. Okay, and you should do that for when you have big payments. Maybe it's quarterly, maybe it's annually, or maybe twice a year. That's what I do, and you can do that as well. Or for any of those bills that come due twice a year or once a year, you can just take it out every month as well, or you could pay it when the month comes if it's not a big bill. That's entirely up to you what you consider big, like a big payment. So down here are my software subscriptions. I pay $10 for Spotify. So when I talk about those payments that come once a year and they're and asking yourself, is this a big payment? So for my Netflix, I share that with my best friend. So that works out to about $3 a month, which is $36 a year. So I don't take out $3 every month. I don't bother with that. I do that when the month comes and she's like, hey, okay, payment is due, is $36. So I'll just take out $36. Not a big deal. It's not like $740. It's not big. So that's what I mean by when the time comes, just, include it in your monthly expenditures. When you're planning your monthly income and spending, just consider whatever bills are due that month. And so for my yoga membership, it's a recurring monthly payment. It's $135. And then for soccer, another example. So soccer, I pay, I don't know, maybe 4 times a year. It's like I play year round. And there are, I don't know, like two or three seasons. Like maybe 3 times a year I pay my fees, right? So again, it's not, for me, when the time comes, it's not a big deal. So I just take it out. I actually decided at the last minute to play for another team. Otherwise, it would have just been this amount. But I'm like, all right, I'm going to just play on another team. So that's costing me another $50. So I'm going to take that out of my August expenditures. This is actually coming out of my, I decided I'm going to take this out of my savings. I'm supposed to allocate $300 to my savings, but I'm like, you know what, I do want to play for this team, so I'll just take it out of my savings, and I'm okay with that. So that's $217, and that adds up to $486. So down here, you just add up total fixed payments for this month. So B plus C. So my total debt and obligations plus my non-debt fixed expenses, it's $1,845 for the month. And then what I'm left with for personal spending and goals is $1,155. Okay, so that I get to this amount by taking this A minus and subtracting D, subtracting my total fixed payments this month. So A minus D will get me to $1,155. So this is how I get to the amount before I'm allocating money towards my goals and personal spending.